Hi, welcome. It's time for a campaign update and the state of my campaign for this week. My name is Susan Maud Buchser-Lochocki. I am a presidential candidate from the 2020 and the 2024 presidential elections, and also eventually the 2028 presidential election. Welcome. So I have not conceded the 2024 presidential election. As you probably know, it's because of all the fraud and manipulation in the election system that we have here in the USA. And a lot of you already know that I have a different plan that we need to implement for voting because the people in power have found a new way to corrupt the system. And it is not working. We have illegal people in most offices currently, and it needs to change. So the Supreme Court has a lawsuit from me. And the idea is we need to get rid of this fake list of names called registering to vote. I mean, we saw how much fraud was in the Social Security list of names last year when they were going through the names and going through the Social Security numbers here in the USA. And they discovered that there were so many people getting payouts from dead people or people that don't exist. And so if that exists in an official list of names and people are getting benefits from it, just imagine how many fake names are on the registering to vote list, which is not an official list by any government body. It is a list that the states keep themselves. So, hello, folks. We got this fake list. It's called registering to vote. And U.S. Supreme Court, if you're listening to me, I'm going to repeat it. We have this list of fake names called registering to vote. And it needs to stop. You know it. I know it. You have my lawsuit. Make a ruling. It is time. We have troubles in our country that need to be fixed now, today, not tomorrow and not the day after tomorrow, but now. But we can't get them fixed because we have so much corruption just in the election system itself. And I mean, we saw also in Social Security and in other areas over and in the police force and the ICE force and just all over. We got corruption up and down all avenues in our country. And you hold the key to changing it all. And you're not doing it. So I call on the U.S. Supreme Court to act on my lawsuit. It is time to act. Enough is enough. I mean, truthfully, I think Donald Trump is doing an okay job. I don't think a lot of his policies he knows really what he's talking about. But on some, he's spot on. But he's going through a list of things that he's doing, and he's checking the list and getting the things done, which is good. And he is putting the USA first, which, or at least the Americas first. I don't know about always the US first, but maybe it's also the US first. But he's doing an okay job, but I just don't know if he's the rightful president. And this is where we need to make some changes. So the one thing I did also notice is I saw something from the Republican Party where I live, And they have declared they're going to handle their own primary, which means, I don't know the details. I don't know if that means that I have probably a mouse visitor or something. I don't know if that means that they're going to what it read was something like only Republicans are going to be involved in the Republican primary. And I think that's a great idea. That's what is supposed to happen. But the real thing that's supposed to happen is that the Republicans do not own our country, nor do the Democrats, nor do they do that together. But currently they seem to think so. And they use your tax money and my tax money to hold their primaries. No. My tax money, I'm not a Republican, I'm not a Democrat. They don't get to use my tax money for their primary. No. They need to do their own primary on their own time, on their own dollars from their own organization. They have enough money. They have more money than probably our own government. So they need to organize themselves, run their own primaries, make their own decisions on who is going to be in what position, and done. Done. There's no more doing this fake election no. Parties decide who they want to be in what position. Then they inform the election division in every state. And then on election day or during the election time, then you have a choice between the people running for that office. Now, the other things that the states are doing currently, and especially West Virginia, is they have this rule that they want people running for office to be registered to vote. But registering to vote doesn't mean anything. There's West Virginia back in 2022 declared there were 380,000 wrong names on the registering to vote list, but those people voted. That's a quarter of the of a West Virginia vote. So, folks, if my name is on the list or not, it actually doesn't matter because it's a fake list. So using that fake list like it's official to say whether I can run for office or not is absolutely absurd. It doesn't make sense. It's an obstacle that prevents a citizen from their rights. My right is to run for office. And if I fulfill the requirements that are in the constitutions, then I can be in that position. But currently they've added this extra obstacle called you have to be registered to vote. But this is absurd because I could be registered to vote in probably all 50 states if I really wanted to. Certainly 10, there's certainly, as I was driving around the last couple of years running for office, I realized that I could register in many states. And there was even a time where I was actually still registered in New York State, which is where I was originally registered. And I was registered here in West Virginia because I didn't do the paperwork properly in New York. They didn't cancel my registration. But that's a whole nother issue. But the real point is their system that the Democrats and Republicans organized is full of fraud. And that's just one way that they're deceiving the U.S. public. So for me to run for office, which I would like to, supposedly in West Virginia, I have to be registered to vote. So I will try, and let's see. Maybe they hear this video and maybe they cancel that belief that they've got that you have to be registered, because it's phony. It's a phony belief. You don't need to be registered to run for a political office. You need to prove who you are, and the people behind the desk need to know what a passport looks like, so they can declare that it's a real passport. And they need to know what a driver's license looks like, because those are the two things that you need to prove that you are a citizen and to prove that you are living where you live. It's not brain surgery, folks. So the Democrats and Republicans like to make it seem like it's brain surgery, like something really amazing needs to happen, but it's really quite simple. And you cannot do what you're doing. It's just unconstitutional. You cannot stop a citizen from their rights, and my right is to run for office without phony obstacles. It is just so. So shame on you, West Virginia. I'm going to try it, but let's see what happens. But it's time to get the corruption out of the government. And, we cannot have a country if the people in power are corrupt. And most of them are, sadly. So we got to change some things. This is unacceptable. Okay. So that's the end of my campaign update. It's going well. I wanted to talk briefly about this. I was at the Dr. Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. event in New York City, in Harlem, actually, on Monday. There's this organization by Al Sharpton, and it's the National Action. It's called NAN, National Action Network, I think. And there they had, so mostly New York State people talking about. So the concept was they were supposed to talk about whether they felt the dream of Martin Luther King was going well or not, and what policies they have to work on that. Only out of 15 speakers, only about 3 people answered the actual question. A lot of people gave a lot of rhetoric, lip service. I think I have a mouse. A lot of lip service, and they didn't give any insights or details or talk about what they're doing to make things better. So rhetoric, not results, is what we heard, sadly. But it was interesting, and it made me feel like, a lot of time has passed where people in office have been there for a long time and they're not getting results. And so, we got a lot of pork in our government right now, and we got to get it out of there. We don't need a House of Representatives, and we don't need a legislature in our state governments. So that's really those two areas. We don't need those people. They're not representing us anyways. We need direct democracy. We need votes to go directly to the people, so that the people can have their voices heard. Because right now, not only do we not know what they're really doing behind closed doors, but we don't have time to know, because, nobody's informing us anyways, so they're not really representing us. They're not informing us whatsoever. And then they're just getting paychecks. So this is what's happening. It's not good. And that part has to change too. So we need to restructure the federal government and also the local government. But the real thing is we need to raise the standard of living. I think Martin Luther King Jr.'s um, dream is here now, but we have to now um, raise the standard. We made everybody equal, but instead of raising the standard of the lowest people, we took the middle class and made them on the lower level. So we have a lot of people of all walks of life living the same, but they're all in poverty. So we need to change that. We need to bring the standard up so that they can have their dreams that they dream about. It's not about always, the struggle has to be less. That is really putting US citizens first. If we create a USA that helps the citizens achieve their goals, and it is possible, I've seen it happen. I lived for 20 years in Switzerland where I watched their citizens getting their goals. So there's nothing to prevent us from doing it except for our current system. So I need to get into office where I can bring these ideas to the USA and we can start helping our citizens achieve their goals. That's the state of my campaign. More in the State of the Union, which is coming up next. So end of part 1. Thanks for stopping by. Bye for now.